I teased it before we started. We've got to talk about Jahans before the rest of the show gets away from us.
Hey, cucks. Destroy the white race.
We have to talk about
Black
it.
people are violent, fucking retarded and insane, stupid and sadistic. And I am not gonna fucking go anywhere near those fucking assholes. Black people are fucking still up trees and picking fleas off of each other.
Oh, he's gonna be so mad.
Well,
I don't think that. I think Jahans.
somebody shared with Jahans our little. We had a little jib jab, little shit post about him last week for only a couple minutes. He went and listened to it and did a series of. He was a little rustled, and we invited him to come on. And he really. I like that he took the invitation super seriously. I was mulling over.
Yeah.
I
was considering it.
I just, I don't think it's something I can do. It's just really funny.
If there's one thing I won't be convinced on, it's racism. But like, he was then the issue. The issue was like we're dicks, like we're assholes. We're not nice people. We're like bullies. We're the kind of bullies he remembers from. All of a sudden, everything cleared up. Wow.
There you go.
I don't know what it is that happens there, but all of a sudden, like, anyway, he's like, we're like the kind of bullies that he remembers from high school. And I was telling him, like, dude, we're not going to bully you. Like, come on.
Yeah.
We just want to talk. We're just going to hang out. We'll be nice. Like, we're nice guys. Like, we were nice to Brendan. We were perfectly nice to Brendan.
No, he thinks it because that the content of our shows that we're like, we're so super racist and doing these shocky jockey jokes about it that's what makes us bullies, which means we would bully him. And even if they're just fucking joking, I spent my whole life being tormented by men like that.
I've been tortured by people who were only joking. yeah, right. Then I guess it people on Twitter were like, well, Millennial Pose is nice. Like, go on his show, right?
Yeah, and that's true.
And so then he watches Millennial, and then he's like thinking about it, right? So he's not going to come anywhere near us because we're mean bullies. And then he's thinking about it, so then he's like going, maybe he'll go on Millennial Woes. And then he's like, I watched Millennial Woes, and, the guys at the Daily Show, okay, I get it. I'm being offensive. I'm being an arsehole. And
hold on.
I'm being the biggest arsehole I can be. And I get it. I get that. But Millennial Woes, he's nice. He's polite. And yet, he's a fucking racist.
And not only is he a racist, but he's preparing for war.
Preparing for war.
So make sure to enlist in the Millennial Woes Army.
I've been in that army. But it's like, he's like, and this is where now I draw the line. Because really, when you're preparing for war, you've now given me the moral right to destroy you.
Which he will do. Post haste.
yeah. And it's like, all right, dude, like.
So, and then like on Twitter, he caught wind of the Esoteric Jahanism thing. And he totally.
Oh, we gotta get the commandments of it up. What?
I have it. I have it.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I had it. Yes, here it is. Yeah. So he went off the rails. Like when you have an esoteric cult, you can't write commandments to an esoteric cult. That's exoteric, right?
Yes. No.
Wait,
well,
what?
you can write. You can have commandment. No, you can. There can be commandments for an esoteric cult. They're just not.
They're not going to be. Well, that or they're going to be. You discard the exoteric meaning and you look for the esoteric meaning written in them.
Yeah.
You know, so that, I mean, I think.
Yeah, well, I guess, commandments are explicit, right? Esoteric is like all inferred. It's secret. It's like.
Right.
Or the other way it can be described is like, it's like you have to be an initiate before you know the commandments.
Right.
So Jahans would have to like initiate people into his cult, and then they issued the commandments. But the cult, the people initiated can't go spreading this around,
Right.
Right. Or it has to be only written. If you write it, it has to be hidden. Yeah. Like it's all like, behind the scenes type stuff.
But you can't discover that you're an esoteric prophet and then start making.
Yeah, no, that's not how it works.
So I had a PDF up here. I don't know where it went. I had something Greg Johnson wrote about Strauss and esoteric. No, Johnson wrote something about Strauss that was about esoteric. But
all right, guys.
We'll see you later.
I got to tap out.
You have a well-deserved rest.
Yeah, I'm very sore from lifting fat fucking all day long. I'm very sore. I gotta recuperate.
All right, man.
Later.
Take her easy. Good night. Yeah, so I've got the commandments up if you want to go. We should maybe we need to like the assignment has to be to the Aussies. The WAP is a big fan. I think we got to start. We got to find
WAP is really the original Jahans.
Yeah, honestly. We got to find the esoteric meaning hidden in these commandments and get back to Jahans and see what he really wants. Like and this is why we should come on, because he could just like spurg out with you and Alex for a while. Commandment number 1 is the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few.
Okay. All right.
2, suffering is subjective and to be avoided.
Right. I remember this one. I actually remember this one. It's too bad actually Alex is leaving. Because
I know.
This is the sort of thing
but the directions you can go with number 2 there. Suffering is subjective.
Right. I mean, that's a problem. I mean, right. Okay. So I guess what he's saying is ultimately where he goes with that is, I think it's embedded in some of the further commandments. It's like
let me go to 3 and 4, because I think up through 4 is like a little unit here. Number 3, a suboptimal functional system or existence is preferable in many cases to a non-functional system or existence. And 4 is, since humor is subjective, breaking any of the first 3 for a joke makes you a dick.
Right.
So that's his opening little unit of commandments there, which
that is an insight, I think, into Jahans himself, right? Because when people say things like this, when they issue proclamations, 90% of the time people are just talking about themselves. Like,
right.
Is almost always talking about themselves, right? So what we learn from these 4 commandments is that Jahans thinks picking on people is like one of the worst things you can do. Why? Because he was picked on.
Right.
That's sort of that's not really esoteric. It's fairly obvious, I think, just from like, looking at those commandments. Like, here's someone
I'm just thinking if we
verbal abuse is like one of the worst things you can do.
If we really put our occult meme magic thinking caps on, the things that we can do with 2 and 3 are
okay, so reiterate 2 and 3.
2 and 3. Suffering is subjective and is to be avoided. And 3 is a suboptimal functional system or existence is preferable in many cases to a non-functional system or existence. I mean, number 3, you can apply that to so many things, to so many ideologies.
We can apply number 3 to what we were talking about tonight.
Yeah, exactly.
With non-functional.
Which would probably like blow him. He would probably
right. So like, all right, so
that we did that if we
yeah. So like, okay, we have a non-functional. Well, here's the thing.
We have a functioning system. Suboptimal.
We have a suboptimal functioning system that is serving non-functional people at the expense of functional people.
But who is it serving? Because since suffering is subjective. Can you even really say that? I mean, is it fair for you to, because you're putting you're subjectively applying your preferences to that in that assessment? I mean, that's what subjective is.
And this is sort of the downfall of utilitarianism, because it's like, how do you measure?
Yeah.
How do you measure subjective feelings? Like, how do you measure subjective things like suffering? Like, and if the idea is the least suffering for the most number of people, there's no real way to measure that, which is why actually most people are not utilitarian, right. and actually systems don't really actually try to maximize utility or reduce, like systems actually try to create an abstract notion of justice or fairness. Like that's actually what the legal system does. The legal system is trying to create,
right.
Is trying to implement a sort of an abstract ideal of justice, and there's problems with that too. But it's at least, it's like actually funny enough. I think that's actually better in that it's actually workable, where utilitarianism would just mean total systemic paralysis, because there's no way you could ever know all the information necessary to ever do anything.
Exactly. I want to move on to 5. He says, a system does not need every cog within it to be able to justify the machine's existence, and that is to be respected. The collective will and knowledge of the people may have a majority of the answers, but that doesn't mean everybody will be able to debate and understand everything understood by the whole, nor does it disqualify the knowledge held by the whole if the individual can't answer the question. I mean, I know that's just such...
okay. But I get, here's the funny thing is that this is a post hoc, like he's coming up with these commandments to justify what he already thinks, right?
Exactly.
And in a way to justify what he already considers to be, I mean, I guess we're looking for the esoteric meaning, and the esoteric meaning is just Jahans psychology, right? So
yeah, basically.
We're looking at Jahan. I mean, this is Freudian as fuck, but whatever. It's probably really not, because I think Freud was more like, you know, you want to have sex with your mom or something. But like, this is more like, what is it about Jahans that's why he wants these commandments to be enacted? And I think like that's sort of the thing that's like, basically, I'm still right even if you stump me in a debate. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
right.
I think that's the esoteric.
I think you got that. Yeah, you boiled that down. I was twisting with that one. And yeah, you got that. And
like,
then
even if you stump me, like even if you can't answer the question, that's what he said. Even if you can't answer the question, like
right.
It's still right. Yeah.
Starting with Commandment 6, he starts deconstructing racism, I guess, but he doesn't come out and say it. Number 6, correlation does not imply causation, which I think the esoteric meaning is I don't like your data because it says things I don't like. If you're citing crime statistics, you're bad. Number 7, sapient. He likes to talk about sapients. Number 7, sapient individuals are each individuals with their own capacity for intelligence, stupidity, sadism, and altruism. Do not let a dislike for the unlike cause you to forget that.
Right.
So,
he's essentially saying we're all people.
Yes,
right? Like,
and he's saying
everybody has feelings, everybody has thoughts, but it's like
everyone is sapient, but there's no sliding scale of sapience. All sapience is equal. You know, there's no difference between different groups of sapiens.
I would actually, there might be some people that aren't sapient, but if sapient, by sapient means sort of the same thing as like sentient, I guess.
Sentient, like he's using it that way. Yeah, sapience.
Like it's like an individual with like intelligent conscious self-awareness.
Yeah. So and he ignores, because he was yelling about that in one of his videos. I think it was the Daily Show review he did, where he was yelling about sapience is to be respected, and it's like, well, not equally up and down the scale. I mean, there's it's like, yeah, okay. Not all sapiens are created equal anyway. And then here we go. We're still deconstructing data here. We had the correlation does not imply causation. Number 8, sampling errors happen. Check your data with a large sample size, a variety of conditions, and scientists with different temperaments and dispositions. The truth will win over the majority of scientists, no matter their political allegiance, if the evidence is there. Translation: science is a democracy, and most of the scientists would agree with my assessment of race. So listen to them. Your data's bad.
Yeah, I mean, I'm quite sure that's a specific reply to it's interesting because you can kind of get why he's saying these things. Like, why, if you didn't know esoteric Jahans, or if you didn't know, like, if you looked at these commandments with no context on this conversation, you wouldn't know what he's getting at. But yeah, it's clear that he's getting at, like, your data doesn't necessarily prove what you think it does if it disagrees with what I think.
Yeah.
It's just funny because it's like he actually can't be convinced. Like, and this is the other thing. Like, he could not be convinced of race realism.